I am stupid. I am stupid. I switch off everything.
Today we are talking about the only plate carrier scientifically proven to help you perform better, and that is the Qore Performance IcePlate EXO, which is their modular plate carrier system, and we'll talk more about the features that make it what it is. Before we get into all this, I know there's been a lot of talk on social media lately with people saying you shouldn't train in plate carriers or this or that, or it's cosplay, whatever. Like, I don't care. If you let people on the internet dictate how you live your life, I think having a plate carrier is the least of your problems. So if you have kit, train in it, run it, or don't, it's up to you. You know, the main thing is be realistic about your training. The main thing is that you get out and actually train and be proficient with your weapon system, and this is just a byproduct, a tool. Yes, there are some valid points that are made. Mike Glover's post on being in permissive and non-permissive environments is an excellent post. And maybe I'll talk more about my experience in non-permissive environments and some of the work that I did as a pastor, going on mission trips in Central America and in the Middle East, and how, you know, that limited what we could do as civilians. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do a whole video talking about that and like how that shapes how I carry daily and the things that I do. But back to this. Before we dive in, this is actually a prototype placard. So just gonna get rid of that for now. Quick disclaimer, this was sent to me by Qore Performance. They did ask me to do a review on it. And when we talked about it, Justin told me, he said, hey, just be honest, tell me the truth. You know, if there's something you don't like about it, I need to know. So yeah, so there's that. That's out of the way. But let's dive into the actual plate carrier itself. So this is it's like a skeletonized plate carrier. It's made out of a laminate that is hydrophobic. Ultimately, that just means that it's super light, but it's also really durable and really strong. So the big con that people have with skeletonized plate carriers is, are they durable? You know, are they eventually going to stretch and sag over time? And every plate carrier does that. Even my first spear did that, and that actually aided in the plates fitting better in there. But the laminate they use is actually 14 times stronger than steel. So I think that alleviates a lot of the concerns that people have about it being a skeletonized plate carrier, and if it'll stretch, if it's gonna sag, if it's gonna tear, if it's gonna be able to actually hold the weight. So yes, it will. And it's also modular, so it has MOLLE throughout. You've also got your hook and loop on the inside and outside, so if you want to attach things that way, you can do that. It is cut for ESAPI plates, and then it's got a few other features that make it really unique from anything else out on the market, and that's what really makes the Qore Performance IcePlate EXO whole setup what it is. So let's get into those features. So the main thing that you're gonna notice, like the biggest difference that you're gonna see from Qore Performance, like their technology that makes it what it is you have this IcePlate technology, which is essentially like a bladder. It's a hard shell bladder that holds water. You can put it in the freezer, freeze it. You can put warm water in it. But what this does is that it keeps your core temperature down, and that's where the performance improvement comes from, right? So when we're out in the sun, and the biggest sign that we got of this was when we did our average Joes in July or August of last year of 2020. Mil-Spec Mojo came out, Matt Tran came in town. You can go see that video up here. But Mojo actually had to take a break. Matt did too. Matt's from Colorado. Mojo's from obviously the Pacific Northwest. So they're not used to the Texas heat and humidity. And once we got about midday, they were both like, they were exhausted. The heat got to them. Their core temperature got so high. We got some fluids in them. We went through them in the truck in the AC and like had to cool them down. What this does is this keeps your core temperature down. So by having this IcePlate in the Texas heat that we have, in the summer, the humidity, the sun, it just beats down on you and your core temperature skyrockets. Especially if you're wearing a plate carrier, you can just feel the heat just radiating from in you. And then as your core temperature goes up, your extremities go up, right? Because that heat's got to go somewhere. So the way your body functions is it moves that heat out to your arms, your legs, to your head to try to get it to dissipate, because it's all just centralized. So as that happens, your body's just constantly working, and it's working over in overdrive, trying to get rid of that heat, trying to get rid of that excess body heat. So we take this core plate, we take the ice, the cool water, we put it up against there, and now your core temperature is staying down. And we're keeping that at a better level, which allows you to run harder, run faster, to go longer, your endurance goes up. In my testing and using this, I went out the first couple times, and the biggest thing I noticed was that I didn't feel as tired at the end of a range day. Like, I felt like I still had energy. I didn't feel exhausted. I didn't feel beat down. I didn't feel like I was just burning up on the inside. For the first time, I actually noticed, like, man, my head is hot from my hat and my ear pro. And normally it's like, man, I'm hot under this plate carrier. I just want to hurry up and get it off. So the IcePlate definitely works, and I've noticed there's a noticeable improvement. I've been working out in it at the gym. I've been running in it. I've been doing all kinds of workouts in it to see how it changes. And you do feel like you have more energy. You feel fresher, longer, and that's where the improvement comes from. It's like one of the few items that actually improves how you perform because of that. Now, if you live in a cold weather environment, say you live somewhere like up in Canada or up in the Pacific Northwest or in the Montanas or the Midwest where it gets really cold in the winters and you're out training in the winter, you don't necessarily want an IcePlate around you, keeping you even colder than you are. So what you can do is you can actually fill this with warm water or hot water, and it'll keep your core temperature warm. And again, your body works in the same way. So you've got that heat centrally located. It's gonna dissipate that heat out to your arms and legs to keep your entire body warmer as you're moving around and exercising or training or whatever it is. So this is great for especially the tactical games, CrossFit, any type of ruck training that you're doing where you gotta carry that added weight, or for you guys who are in these different environments, like especially here in Texas in the South, out in Arizona, it's crazy hot. If you need that, if you're on duty, this is an excellent thing to get, and I highly recommend it. And then on top of that, it being skeletonized makes it really light, and it doesn't hold that heat into the plate carrier. It's also hydrophobic, so it won't retain water. So if you're sweating into it, your sweat's not gonna pile up on it. I know some of the other plate carriers I've worn have a lot of fabric in them to try to create padding or to make them more comfortable or to try to provide some sort of ventilation, but really all it is under the weight and pressure. It just squeezes all that in there. It's just insulating you. So this is a super light, super cool or warm, depending on how you set it up, plate carrier system. Now, the other technology they have is their ice vents, which these are pretty common. You'll see a lot of guys running these on their ear pro. They run them on their holsters. You can run them on your shoulder straps, and these you can attach to just about any plate carrier. What they are is it's their vents, and it creates a air gap. So if we think about engines like on motorcycles, right? You have the fins off of the machined out fins to dissipate that heat. This is essentially what that's doing. It's creating airflow channels. It's creating a space where cool air can come in, cool off your body, and get some of that heat away from your body. Again, we're trying to remove some of that heat, some of that built up body temperature, and try to get it out to keep your core temperature down. Because the more we keep your core temperature down, the better you're gonna perform long term, and the longer you're gonna perform at your best. So this allows you to do that. Now this actually works. I think there's only one other company that makes something that actually works, like scientifically has proven to improve your performance. And the biggest thing I can say from my personal experience, the way that I can explain how this is better than other stuff you're gonna have, because like when I carry camera gear, right? We carry these camera bags, and everybody talks about we have these airflow channels, and we have this cushioning, and we have these vents, and we have this netting, and all this stuff, and it's all like great technological talk. I've heard it all, right? But at the end of the day, under the weight, and especially on how we wear our plate carriers, when it squeezes down on your body, it essentially crushes all that fabric down, and all that fabric does is then act as insulation. It's holding all your sweat, it's holding all the fluids that are coming off your body, and it's just insulating you, driving up your core temperature even faster. Now, if you've ever walked around like a big city or anywhere like on a ruck, when it's hot outside, you can feel that. Like immediately your back is sweating before everything else. And your back's sweating because your body is trying to release fluids to cool your body down. But if you notice the sweat is only on your back and not on like your chest or your stomach, it's because airflow is getting there and it's cooling you down naturally, so you don't need that additional help. So if you're sweating, your body's working really hard in that region to try to get some airflow in there. What this does is it keeps that space, that little bit of gap, to get airflow in there to reduce some of that, so we keep your fluids inside of you so you're not becoming as dehydrated as fast. So we have this on shoulder straps. You can throw it on the front because there's no ice plate in the front. This is actual ballistic plates in the front. So speaking of ballistic plates, the way it's set up on the front, we have the ballistic plate in there. Now you can run an ice plate in there. You can run two ice plates front and rear, but if you're somebody who's on duty or whatever and you need to run your ballistic plates all the time, you can run your ballistic plate in the front, run your ice plate on the inside in the rear, and then on the back side, you have your other ballistic plate. So this keeps you safe from whatever threats you're facing on duty or off duty, and you have it set up that way. Other benefits, you'll notice the hose running up the side. When you fill the ice plate with water, you put it in the freezer, you let it freeze. As you're wearing this out in the heat, it will eventually over time melt, and what that does is it gives you a water source. So now you don't have to carry a Camelback bladder, you don't have to carry a water bottle with you, you have it all right there. So not only is it keeping your body cool, but as it starts to melt, you now have a resource for water. So as you're sweating and you're getting some of that, you're losing some of those vital fluids, you can replenish those through this IcePlate. So again, it's a great technology to help you stay hydrated, to help keep your core temperature down, and to keep you performing well. Now, you can run without the IcePlate, so if you're in a situation where you don't need to, there's a couple different ways you can set up this plate carrier to have the IcePlate on here. And the great thing about this particular version, this is not the Pro Series, you have the Pro Series that has it woven in, goes inside, and it's just hook and loop, that's it. So you have hook and loop, you put it on there. Now, if you know how hook and loop works, because of how the friction is, it's not gonna slide up and down. It has to come off this way, right? So because it's between the plate and your body, it's squeezed in tight like that, and your cummerbund's got it around, it's not gonna slide around. So in order to get it off, you just rip it off. So quick pro tip, something that I came across. So there's a couple ways you can set up your cummerbund. So the way your cummerbund is set up, you can attach it with, again, hook and loop straps like these. You just weave it in there, wrap these around once you've got it set. And they've got a bunch of videos on that. I'll link their channel, you go check them out. There's a bunch of videos on how to set it up and things like that. They also now include the bungee option, so you can run some bungee cord through there, like this. If you go this route, one of the added benefits of doing this is that if you leave a little extra slack, so set up your plate carrier, put your ballistic plates front and rear, get your cummerbund, size it properly without the IcePlate, right? Size it properly without the IcePlate, that's a key point. Weave your bungee through there and then leave enough excess on there to throw your IcePlate in, so that all you gotta do is allow that extra slack, you pull your cummerbund, and now it fits. Now, if you wanna run without the IcePlate, you simply take it back off, pull that slack out, tighten it down, and then your cummerbund is gonna fit tight with just your ballistic plates, no IcePlate. Since we're talking about cummerbunds, I have the Molly version. They have an elastic version that will hold ballistic side plates. How they attach is not hook and loop. It is similar to the tubes. It's called the Espeto clip. If I'm pronouncing that right, Justin, I'm sorry if I'm not. But this clip, I think, works better than the tubes in my experience. So the thing that I didn't like about the First Spear tubes, and I know a lot of people use the First Spear tubes, but one of the things I don't like is that when I get into weird positions, if I'm twisting or turning, or if something drags on it, it'll pull that tube out, or across the shoulder. That's one of the things I didn't like, was having the tubes up here. While it is fast, if you need that for your particular work, if you're a jump out boy and you've got your plate carrier setting in the passenger seat next to you, and you gotta be able to take it, throw it across, tubes on, and you're ready to jump out. If that's you, that's what you need for your specific job. This doesn't have that option. There are no tubes. It is the traditional just over it. But the clips, I think, are better because they clip on like this, and you can go vertically and they won't come off. And if I pull, it's not gonna come out either. You have to actually pull the tab and then it'll come open. With the tubes, over time, I did see that they started to expand as they were used more and more, or as we got into weird positions, they would drag on something or pull apart. And I wasn't crazy about that. Something else that it does come with is you've got your swift clips, so you can have these attached and then run, if you're running like a Haley, Spiritus, I think Pharaoh, anybody who has one, you can run it on there. You've got your shoulder straps. Again, you have your ice vents here. They give you all the hook and loop to attach everything, to run your tubing for your water bladder. And again, one of the features they always talk about is that if you use this specifically just for the water bladder, if you're not really interested in the cooling system, you can always throw this on the back and have your plates closer to you. And then you don't have to worry about resizing your cummerbund or any of that. Again, it's another added option that you have. You can do that, and if you do that, one of the great things about running this hard plate as opposed to running a camelback or a backpack is that it gives you a flat back. So you can sit down, you can lay down, whatever you gotta do. Again, this is more so for professionals. I think civilians, it's not something you really have to worry about, but if you're like in a helo or compact space, this allows you to do that. Again, great option on the market, and in my opinion, this is the only plate carrier that will actually improve your performance as you get out and train and run around, especially in the Texas heat. What don't I like about the plate carrier? There's only two real issues I had, and I told Justin both of these, and really they're just like nitpicky things. The first one is that, again, and this is an issue that most of you won't have, but it's simply because I am a small human. There's a little bit of excess right here in this flap. I wish that the Velcro came all the way around on this side so that it would take up that so it wasn't kind of flapping around. That's just an issue because I run small sappy plates as opposed to the mediums that these are designed for. If you run a medium or a large, you won't have that issue. That's just an issue for me because, again, I'm small. And then the other issue is that it's designed for medium sappy plates and above, but that's the average size. I'm a little bit below average. Again, just sizing, but I do know after talking to Justin, and they even listed on their website, they are working on more sizes for the future. So we'll see, I think, some of those problems alleviated, but outside of that, there aren't really any issues. Really quick, I want to elaborate on how and why this is important to improve your performance, or how it actually improves your performance. So we know it keeps your core temperature down, but why does that matter? As somebody who was a high-level athlete throughout high school and then going into college, you're keeping your core temperature down is really important, especially in endurance sports. And as your body temperature goes up, as your core temperature goes up, your body goes into overdrive to compensate, to alleviate that stress that's put on your body from the excess heat. So it's like when your car starts to overheat, some of the other things start to fail. Like you see hoses fail and gaskets fail and things like that. Your body's no different. And when that happens, one of the things that we start to see is that your mobility, like your skills, your motor skills, fine motor skills, start to go out the window. So if you get a long training session, say you're out at an Achilles heel class or field craft, any course that's a full day's worth. If you're going to one of those long day training courses or a 2 or 3 day training course, and that heat sets in, your fine motor skills start to go out the window. Your decision making, your ability to process things starts to go out the window. Those are your gaskets starting to blow because your body is trying to deal with the stress of the heat. So if we can keep you cooler longer, that means that you're gonna perform better for a longer period of time during that training session. Now, as you perform better during that training session, as you're able to take in the information, as you're able to process better over that time, that means you're getting more out of that training session. So as opposed to, like, say you got 3 or 4 hours into a training session and then your core temperature went through the roof, and then you're hearing what people are teaching, but it's just not processing because your body's so focused on cooling you down that you're not making good decisions. Your motor skills are going out the way, things are getting sloppy, you're not moving as fast, and so you're not getting your return from that time. We keep that core temperature down, we keep you cool, you're still making good decisions, you're still processing information, you're still understanding what it is the instructor's telling you, and you're able to make more of that time that you have that you're out on range. Because we've all hit that wall where you're there and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a drill and you're like, man, I'm just gassed. I just ran the box drill in 100-degree weather and I really don't want to do anything else for the rest of the day. But doing this, I ran the box drill in it, and I was, it was still hot, but, I was able to keep going. And then at the end of that day, Taylor with me was out there training, and he was like, dude, you could see it mentally. He wasn't there. The heat had got to him. We'd pushed a little too hard. I felt okay, but I didn't realize that it was getting to him like it was. So it's one of those things, like it does make a difference. So that's what I mean by that. It's going to help actually improve your performance. It gives you the opportunity to continue to grow and progress as a shooter and make the most of your time on range, as opposed to being limited by what the heat is doing to you in that time. So hope that makes sense. I think it'll help a lot of you guys, and at no matter what level you're at, no matter what skill level you're at shooting, no matter if you're a grandmaster or a new shooter, if you're just out for fitness, it's gonna help a lot of people out there. So go check out Qore Performance. I know a lot of people are still back ordering stuff, but I'm looking at their site right now and every color is currently in stock except for multicam. So you could go and order this today. You can get the full setup, everything you see here aside from the plates, for $805. They do have an option. You can get level 3 and level 4 plates included as a part of it, and those are priced accordingly. So go check them out. It's qoreperformance.com. Check them out. Go give them a follow on Instagram. These guys are amazing, and they have great customer service, and they will answer any questions you guys have about the technologies, the fit. There's a ton of informative videos they have on their own channel. Go check them out. So if you're really interested to deep dive into some of this technology and how they use it, go check it out. And I tell you that the data behind the technology is there because companies outside of our industry are using it, and they have a substantial improvement in their efficiency and performance of their, employees is what we'll say. As always, make sure that like and subscribe, crunch out that bell so you get notified every time we upload a video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, also, if you have any questions about this or about any of the stuff on here that I might have left out, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to answer those for you guys.
All right, I'm gonna be real with you guys for a minute. So, with all the average Joe stuff that we put on events and everything like that, and with COVID and everything, we haven't got to shoot as much as we really want to. It used to be a once, twice a week kind of thing. The last time I got out and actually trained, like not made videos but trained, has been a minute. It's been a little while. It's been more than a little while. So there's this, from what I am now is like a shadow of what I used to be. And it's depressing, but I know I can be good again. And that's why I'm here to just work fundamentals. And that's what I like doing. I like doing dot tortures. I like doing Paul House standards. I like doing things that are measurable success. You know what I mean? I like to see where I'm at. And a lot of these things are super easy, but you will blow it. And one miss, one at a time, and you got to start over. And it's just, it's yeah, sure. Like, let's see, a dot torture is 50 rounds. 50 rounds is expensive, but man, it'll really show you where you're inefficient at. That, and check out any of the other average drills that we do. You know what I mean? Today's a humbling day for sure. That being said, I'm still better than most of you. Probably better than most of you will ever be. So, just take that, stick that in your pipe and smoke it.